to episode 12 of Skins in the Game, where John and Tim go on in what's going on in the DC sports world. How you doing today?
Everything but sports.
Everything
What's
but
going on right
sports.
now?
Yeah, pretty much. How things going over there in your way?
It's hot. It's hot.
It is hot out.
It was
90 something
actually,
degrees.
yeah. Well, day before yesterday, it got up 100. Yesterday, it was a little better, and now I think today it was over 90, and it felt as bad as it was 2 days ago. The heat index is crazy.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely been hot around here too. We've been working on some job sites with no air conditioning. Inside those buildings have been not a fun place to work.
I
So,
can imagine.
yep. All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into it. We got topic number one is so let's just get the Washington Post started leaking stuff actually 2 weekends ago to local reporters and basically saying that there's more than just a name change coming out and it's going to be bad, right? And this caused Twitter to blow up with
Yep.
the conspiracy theories. Just conspiracy theories all over
Or
the place.
Snyder's going to have.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan Snyder's, he's gonna be forced to sell the team. Like I was looking at this, I'm thinking, oh geez, like in a week we could have a new owner, like potential, or like somebody applying to be a new owner. Like this could be so bad, and the one of the reasons why the rumors got flying so hard, so crazy, is because they took so long to release this article. They started dropping hints on Saturday, and they didn't drop the article until Thursday night. Like this is gonna
Right.
allow some craziness on Twitter that could
Well,
come
of
up.
course they said they were going to drop it on Tuesday, and then so people are waiting all day on Tuesday, and it doesn't come out. And then they said, well, it's coming out Thursday, and like you said, wait until the end of the day. So people are like, come on, man, this has got to be terrible. And it's like I did not think for a second we were going to get rid of Snyder that easy.
Yeah. Well, the funniest rumor, I'm like, we're gonna go through a few of these rumors before we actually get into the actual Washington Post article. Is, in my opinion, is the Redskins supposedly paying off refs to get advantage in games. Adam Schefter put on his Twitter that he, according to one source, they laughed, strongly denied it, and added, "If we did, we need our money back."
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who the guy was in football that was small. He was a small, skinny guy, a receiver, a cornerback, or something. Just a little guy, and they were talking about him using steroids, and it was like, yeah, I think he needs his money back.
Yeah, ineffective. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that one was just on its surface. I was actually watching the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if you ever watched that on YouTube. He's
I have
a
not
ex.
watched it.
He's an ex punter from the Colts. Now he like does stand up comedy, different things. But he's live on air, and he gets a text message from one of his sources, and he reads this one, and he's like, his face lights up, like he's like, I cannot break that news, blah blah blah, whatever. And then so I'm like, oh my god, what did he read? You know, like, and because then he starts talking about stuff on the field, and yeah, once I found out that had to be, or it was about paying off refs, I was like, that's ridiculous. Because last year we were 15th in penalties against. In 2018 we were 30th, or in 2018 we were 30th in penalties. Like,
Well, and I
it's
realize that
crazy.
it might be a homer view, but like I do think that there's been so many times when, particularly when they're at the game and you see some good play, like a guy busts a run outside, and it's like he's running down the sideline, and then in a second you notice, okay, there's the flag, and it's like, nope, holding
Yeah, I would call
call,
these
bring it back.
critical penalties or crucial penalties. Yeah, like
Right.
when you can't afford to have that penalty, the Redskins almost always seem to find a way to get that penalty. 4th and 10, you got to make a defensive stop, defensive pass interference. You know,
And
like
what was the one? I'm trying to remember the game where it was coming down to the wire, and it was a pass that was like down the left side of the field to about the 10-yard line, and it was obvious pass interference, and it made the Redskins fourth down, and
yeah, that
they
was
didn't.
Houston. That was the Houston game.
Was
No,
that Houston? Okay.
that was 4th down. That was the Houston game that Alex Smith hurt his leg. Colt
You're right.
McCoy made
Okay.
the pass to Josh Doxson, and Josh
Yeah.
Doxson couldn't come down with it because he was getting draped on by two other defenders. Like, they didn't even
Yeah.
try to go for the ball. Yeah, no flag. But yeah, that one was hysterical. But there's been rumors from ranging from that all the way to some crazy stuff that Dan Snyder was in with Jeffrey Epstein with human trafficking. I mean, the rumors were just out of control.
Well, you never know.
Technically, you never know. But whatever everybody was saying, this is going to come out in this Washington Post article. Like, stuff like this. Let's see. Like, I also heard a crazy rumor that Jay Gruden and Capri Bibbs apparently were talking to the same woman. And so because Jay got wind of it, and he apparently benched Capri Bibbs and had Byron Marshall in the game, and that's the play that Alex Smith got hurt, is because Capri Bibbs was not in the game.
And that's confirmed, or that's just a rumor?
That was not confirmed. These are just
I
rumors.
guess it'd be hard to. Yeah, I guess that'd be hard to confirm.
Yeah, just rumors flying everywhere. But yeah, no, it was pretty wild. But unfortunately, the Washington Post article, I guess you could say both ways. Fortunately, unfortunately, it was a big dud. Okay, and on its surface, it could be considered a big deal. But because you allowed Twitter to run such a rampage on the rumors, you got wind of this.
It was anticlimactic by the time it went out. And I will be honest with you, once it slid past Tuesday, I started to think, okay, there's something's not right, because they wouldn't have delayed a huge story like that. But,
Right. So, all right, now we're going to go into actually what happened here. So, according to the Washington Post article, 15 women accused the Washington Redskins of mistreatment of its women employees. Only one woman was named, and her name was Emily Applegate. The others remained nameless because either they had a non-disclosure agreement, or some of them may have still worked for the team. So they did not want to talk poorly about them for legal reasons or losing their job. But what Applegate is accusing people of is, apparently we had a guy named, I don't remember this guy at all, a chief of operations was Mitch Gershman, and she was apparently an assistant for him.
Okay.
And also, I couldn't find anything on Mitch Gershman. That was just weird. Like, I tried to Google him. There's no Wikipedia on him. There's no images of him. There's nothing. Like, I found a LinkedIn page with a faceless thing. Like, it's literally, you cannot find any information on this Mitch Gershman. But he was gone a while ago. He was not. Apparently, he was even there during Vinny Serrato days. But
I've already forgotten his name.
Yeah. So, but apparently she was consistently demeaned as stupid, and while also being consistently hit on by Mitch and others in the office. So, I don't know, like, you listen to her, I mean, you never know if these things were actually true or not, but 15 women seems like a lot, and so I'm sure that there was some validity to this, but...
Well, and this is my feeling, and, you know, I'm sure people don't agree with it, and that's fine, but to me, there's two different things, and I'd actually heard rumor that there was physical touching, inappropriate touching, which I think is not harassment, it's assault, and is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a little bit more of a gray line in the ability to interpret to a certain degree, and not that we could, but to, you know, to be made to feel stupid. That, and again, I'm not condoning behavior that puts women in bad situations or uncomfortable situations. I'm just saying it's different.
Mm-hmm.
That if some of these women come out and say that I was threatened, if you know, because he is the CEO, if he made comments about, you know, hey, you're looking good today, hey, would you like to go out on a date? And it could be something that, again, inappropriate, but it could be something that was lighthearted and jokingly, or it could have been something where he was persistent. So there's a gray area in there where, again, not condoning it, but saying there is a far degree, and I guess to the same there is in sexual assault, but
no, I completely hear what you're saying, but she apparently has said, and is that she was brought to tears multiple times while working for the Redskins, like going to the bathroom or even have left the office because of how uncomfortable and how terrible it was. Like that's what she says, that it was multiple times. Her and another woman were in the bathroom crying together because of just how horrible of a work environment it was. But they always wanted to work for the NFL. They said so they didn't want to quit because they really wanted to be inside the NFL. But it was just such a terrible situation. So
Oh, and I could definitely hear another thing that I'd heard, that there are people that were telling them there's 1,000 people behind you that would take this job in a heartbeat.
mm-hmm.
So the idea of if you quit, you're not going to get another. This is your one chance. So I can understand, because the tendency would be if you didn't like it, why quit? Well, this point is like I said. Somebody says, "Hey, 1,000 people would step in here in a heartbeat. So if you want to quit, you'll never work again in the NFL, or chances are you'll never get another chance." So they would probably have put up, and again, these are supposed to be young women, 22, 23, straight out of college, that doesn't have a lot of work or world experience to either deal with it, or in a way of, that's unacceptable, and if you keep doing that, I'll have a problem, as opposed to just taking it. So I can see
Yep.
I'm not saying it's not a problem, but it's not a Dan Snyder's got to go kind of a problem.
Yeah. So, and also before the article was even dropped, the Redskins fired former now director of player personnel Alex Santos and assistant director Richard Mann. They were both fired prior to the article coming out. I guess Dan Snyder and front office people got wind of what was going to be in that article, and they let him go immediately once upon finding it. Larry Michaels,
yeah, I was going to say that it was obviously his tenure there that gave him the opportunity to retire.
Yeah, he was there for 16 years. The voice of the Redskins, Larry Michaels. Before the article came out, and before really any of the real rumors were coming out, like sexual assault, it was just because in the beginning, like the first day or two, you were just hearing it was going to be bad. That was it. It didn't mention sexual assault. Didn't mention drugs or alcohol. It didn't mention anything. It just said it was going to be bad. So when Larry retired, it was a question of like, okay, was he a part of this, or was he like, oh my God, this is so bad, I need to get out? And based on what we're finding in the Washington Post, this is clearly he was just a part of the problem and was not. There was one woman, according to it, that was not named, that said that he said something very inappropriate, and like if she were to, partake, that she would be allowed on his show. That he has a show on Fox, I think it was, or the local Fox channel, and of course she was never on the show. She says because that didn't happen. But yeah, it was. I don't even want to repeat it because it was definitely an extremely inappropriate.
I have an imagination. You don't have to repeat it. I'm sure people listening do too. But I will say that, and again, that is more borderline on the edge that I was talking about in the gray area. That if there's guys making lewd comments and jokes and making people uncomfortable, there's a possibility that somebody could walk in there and, if Dan Snyder or whatever, and says, okay, this stops right here. If I hear anything more about it, you're gone. I could see that. If it's sexual assault or to what Larry, where Larry's doing, where he's leveraging it for favors, then you've gotten to the point where no, there's no possibility of coming there and saying, guys, knock it off or you're out. When you do stuff like that, like I said, physically touch somebody or pressure somebody like that, then that's not a talking situation.
But
that's
even if
get out the door.
I'm just gonna say, like, because I can't repeat, but just if somebody goes and reads what he had said, that even if, like, if I was a boss and I just heard that what he said, that's not a joke. Like, he's gonna be reprimanded, like, because even if it wasn't being used to leverage the show, like what he said was just completely unprofessional, nowhere near what needs to be in a office. Like, it wasn't just a small little flirting thing. Oh, you look good today, or blah blah blah. No, it was much more than that, and it was not a good situation for Larry Michaels.
Like I said, then that's not a position where the CEO or the president or the owner in this case could come in and say, okay, I heard something happen, knock it off. That's a get out of my offices now. But if somebody, like I said, if somebody's joking inappropriately and saying, "Hey, you should go out with me sometimes," and that person said, "Okay, this is making me uncomfortable," that situation could be where you could walk in and say, "Okay, I don't care who's doing it. I don't care how many of you are doing it. But right now, if somebody else does it, they're gone."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying that's the gray area I was talking about before. But anyway, so
No, I understand the gray area. I just want to let you know, like, I don't know if you've read what he said, and I wanted to let the audience know that that's not in the gray area at all. That's, in my opinion,
right.
that's you've exited the gray area. So
Yes.
in response to this, Dan did respond, and they hired. He apparently, of course, apologized to all the employees. Wanted to know that, like, let everybody know that this is not going to happen again. This is going to change, and everybody that works here currently feel feel comfort and letting know that we are going to make sure that these things don't happen again. So the team hired a attorney named Beth Wilkinson. I had never heard of this lady prior to this. Apparently, everybody's saying that this is like a big deal. And so I went to her website, and this is what the first paragraph said, is that Beth has been a lead counsel in over 50 jury trials, including numerous bet the company multi-billion-dollar cases. For almost 30 years, she has developed an unrivaled record of victories in both federal and state courts throughout the country. Her career has taken Beth from the Army to a leading role in the prosecution of the Oklahoma City bombers, to nationally recognized work as a litigation partner of at two of the nation's most prominent law firms, and most recently to founding Wilkinson Walsh. So this girl
Well,
has some experience.
I could imagine he is paying her a pretty penny to do this. So
Yeah.
I imagine she's probably in demand. So yeah, this is probably not a cheap investigation or
Right.
review, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, for sure. And right now, it's enough to keep the NFL off their backs. So there's been a lot of talk on Twitter from different people coming out saying basically like the NFL needs to step in and do something, like hiring this and doing the making their announcements and stuff. So far, the NFL does not plan on taking any action against the team. Like, they fired the people that were the accused.
Yeah. What happened to Kraft? What happened to Jerry Jones and the bus when it's the party bus? That you remember that rumor going around? That was a number of years ago.
I
What
know the
happened to
Robert
them?
Kraft story, but I do not know about Jerry Jones. The Kraft story was like he was apparently going into some massage parlor down in Florida that was found to be having women without any credentials that were apparently kidnapped and
Yeah, they had
forced.
hidden
Yeah.
cameras, and the cops were doing a sting, and they busted them in a a basically a brothel or whatever we want to call it. With yes, potentially people there. I don't know that they were there against their will, but there were definitely people that were.
My understanding is that they had their passports taken away from them. Like, these people were totally against their will. Like, basically saying, like, yeah, right now you're not even here legally. Go ahead and try to cross us. You'll be kicked out of this country so fast, kind of thing. So my understanding with the Robert Kraft situation, and we don't know if Robert Kraft knew that that's the kind of establishment. I think he obviously knew what the women were capable of. Let's put it that way. But I don't know if he necessarily knew the women were against their will. So I don't know. I don't remember if they hit him or not. The Patriots have lost so many draft picks for over the years. I don't know what they're all for.
I want to say, and I didn't spend a lot of time looking for this, but I have a recollection of like a $500,000 penalty or something, but I could be way off. I could be thinking about something because they've gotten a lot of penalties, so it could have been something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Jerry Jones had like some bus, and I don't know. It's a while ago, and I don't know the details, but apparently it was kind of like the bus that, I can't remember if he set it up for the players or for VIP, but you can imagine what went on the bus and went on the bus, and it was a big, huge story and a bad mark on the
Cowboys, yeah,
the NFL in general.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's like I was gonna do a search real quick. We can move on if you want, if I happen to find it, what happened to him. But
yeah, if you want to search it up while we move on to the next thing, we can come back to it. That's fine.
yeah,
But I guess before we moved on to the next topic, I just wanted to ask this: who do you think is going to be the next voice of the Redskins, and do you have a preference of somebody that would be?
And this is not the color guy. This is the play-by-play guy.
Yeah, this is the play-by-play.
Because I have to be honest with you, my first thought went to Cooley, but I know he would be the color guy, not the
Doc Walker's the sideline guy. I think Sonny finally retired, so I think he's gone now. So
yeah.
there's only the two that remain there. But I am definitely going to throw in Kevin Sheehan's name. I think he'd do a great job. I know he's done play-by-play in the past. He has a great voice for radio, face for radio too. Just kidding, Kevin. You're fine. But
right.
No, great voice. I think he would actually be fantastic at doing this. Years and years on the team radio. I would like to see Kevin Sheehan get this job because I think he'd be really good at it. Chris Cooley can still be the color guy. They have great chemistry together, back and forth, doing the radio show together in the past. So I think I would like to see Kevin Sheehan personally.
If not Zabin. No, I'm just kidding. I know you don't like Zabin. By the way, I found...
Zabin would be fine. I don't know if he's done play-by-play, but I know he has a good voice for radio and everything.
I think he started off, unless I'm mistaken, he started off as play-by-play in a really small, like, I don't know if it was high school, probably not high school, but a really unknown college. That's my recollection of where he got his broadcasting. But anyway, I just wanted to throw this in real quick.
Okay,
In August of 2014, the report said that Jerry Jones had the NFL vice president of officiating on his party bus. So it was a bit of that wasn't just like, hey, having somebody, this was like, you don't think that would have any influence on any of the officiating.
But Dan Snyder, Dan Snyder's paying the refs here.
Yeah.
Of course.
So Jerry Jones was smarter. He paid their boss, and then he just worked.
Did anything happen as far as punishment?
I was looking in. It's a long article.
Okay.
And I took a quick look, and
That's
I
fine.
think something happened, but we could look that up at another time. But it was, I mean, it was a huge book of an article, so I'm like, I'm not going to try to scan through there, but.
Gotcha. Well,
I'm not even sure. I mean, that article was dated August 7th, 2014, so that might have been an article before the NFL did anything.
Yeah, I have no clue. Fair enough. But now, in reaction to all this, I was thinking about this. I think Ron Rivera is in a really interesting spot with, like, going through this much turmoil right from the get-go. Obviously, right out the gate, it's coronavirus first, players versus social justice next, the name change and controversy next, and of course now the sexual assault allegations and sexual harassment allegations.
Front office problems, yeah.
Yeah, front office problems. Like, and he's handling it with such class. Like, every interview, like, you come away thinking, like, yeah, he's going to stop this situation. Like, he's giving the team so much credibility right now as far as people believing that this culture will change because of Ron Rivera, that I think that Dan Snyder has to be so enamored by him right now that this could be a long-term coach for the Redskins right now. Yeah. Like, longer than his 5-year contract. This could be, like, I think that he could have an extremely long leash. And if things don't go right in situations, like, he could, like, Dan Snyder will give him the benefit of the doubt and let him work through some bad times before he thinks about firing him.
I absolutely agree with you. And if you think about it, this is my impression I've had of Dan Snyder is I think he pays a lot more attention to, and I'll say that, sports talk. I don't know if it's sports talk radio, but he pays attention to the pundits because if you look at his history, they said Dan Snyder talks too much. He's in front of the cameras too much. Next thing you know, you don't see him in front of the cameras at all. And then, he does this, and then he does the opposite. And, he hires a coach with no experience, so he goes after a coach with a lot of experience. And I think he pays more attention to those things than one might think. And like in Jay Gruden's instance, or Jay Gruden's career or whatever, that he had heard people saying, he doesn't give a coach, he's too impatient, he's not willing to build a team to win. So he ends up giving Jay Gruden more time than he should have because because he pays attention to what he hears. So I think he's got his ear to the media or whatever, the local media that's talking about him, and he's paying attention to it.
Yeah, well, there's
That's
also
all.
some because Bruce Allen or Jay Gruden was Bruce Allen's pick. Like, there's a lot of connections. I think they had connections back with Jay Gruden's dad and Bruce Allen down in Tampa, I think it was, and like there's a lot of connections throughout that tree for Bruce Allen and Jay Gruden's whole family with John Gruden. No, that's what it was. It was John Gruden down in Tampa. Bruce Allen had connections with, and I think George Allen, his dad, and Jay Gruden and John Gruden's dad, they had connections there back in the day. That
Yeah,
he was
go ahead,
probably there. Yeah, he was probably there longer than he should have because Bruce Allen was there, probably defending him, and then that's why Jay Gruden and Bruce Allen lose their job in the same year. Like, okay,
yeah, that's
like,
a good point, because I know because the last name of Bruce Allen is why Dan Snyder put up with him for as long as he did. I think is
yeah.
because
Well,
he was George Allen's son.
yeah, that's I'm sure that has something to do with it. But at the same time, Bruce Allen is a politician in a sense where he will just go out there and be in the front of the media, and where Dan Snyder is a recluse. You never see Dan Snyder. So it was Bruce Allen was willing to stick his face out there, basically.
Lie through his teeth.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Bruce Allen is horrible. That's why I call him a politician.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a damn good culture here. It's
Yeah.
Like, okay, and he said that with a straight face.
Yeah. Now this comes out. Oh yeah, damn good culture.
Yeah.
Speaking of good culture, I did. Oh, good.
I was just gonna say, good culture is apparently a relative term, but go ahead.
No, well, this came out. I almost forgot to mention this with all the rumors and different things that were flying around. Is DJ Swearinger put out on Twitter, and this is his verified Twitter account, blue check mark here, that this is a text message rung. I'll pull it up real quick. That from Jay Gruden to him, after apparently he made his comments to the media, DJ Swearinger, because that's eventually what got DJ Swearinger cut. Jay Gruden texts him saying, "Wanna play? Let's effing play." DJ Swearinger responds, "Who's this?" Jay Gruden, "Call me back." You know what? Actually, you want to read DJ Swearinger stuff? Or I'll read. Yeah.
I don't know who this is.
Jay Gruden, "I'm waiting.
When can face-to-face, man-to-man, tomorrow or tonight, if you'd like, and what you mean want to play?
Where you want to meet? We can meet tonight or tomorrow."
Well, let cooler heads prevail tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Done.
Yeah,
So,
what is...
yeah, so a couple of weird things about this one. And I don't see why DJ Swearinger would fabricate this, right? Like, I don't see why DJ would lie, right? Like, because it came from his Twitter account. This is legit. This is not just a rumor flying on Twitter. This is Jungle Boy Swag is DJ Swearinger's verified account.
Right.
And a couple things though. You don't have the phone number to your head coach. Like, want to play? Who's this? Like, what? Like, you don't have the head coach's phone number as a professional?
Well, if it's legit, it's always possible he called from a landline or something, like his house or something. I don't know. But I understand
this is a
point.
text. It can't be a landline because this is text.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Duh.
So, yeah, maybe the call me back was from the office. I don't know. But I just found that weird.
Maybe it was his wife's cell phone.
Yeah. Because now he has it saved from here. Another thing that's weird is, like, Jay Gruden was apparently so ticked off that he was willing at almost 10 o'clock at night. Like, let's meet tonight. You get your, get to the office now. Kind of thing. Like,
right.
We'll talk right now. And, so, I don't, like, this whole thing was really weird. Like, I don't know, like, maybe he just ticked Jay Gruden off. Like, because Jay Gruden seems like he has a somewhat, like, of a reasonable head on his shoulders for the most part. I know that he could be snarky during interviews and things like that. But
he can be a little volatile. He is John Gruden's brother, but I understand what you're saying. He doesn't seem to be certainly not as bad as John Gruden, but
Yeah.
the apple doesn't fall far from the tree as far as siblings that I could see a hot-headedness, but if it was, I guess it was because of something Swearinger said,
Yeah, because
or
if you recall, DJ Swearinger, he ended up getting cut from the team because he kept talking to the media
right,
about like how practice was a joke, nobody's taking it seriously,
I got
blah
you.
blah
Yeah,
blah,
okay.
and so this is, I guess, like, so he finally got fed up. I know that I'm pretty sure, if I remember my recollection is correct, that Jay Gruden and the front office, or the head coaches, coaching staff, had 3 separate times where they sat DJ down, saying like, "Don't talk to
Enough.
the media about like family business." If that makes sense. Like, I don't want
Yeah,
to
I know
hear
what you're talking
about.
about.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about how the practices aren't going well. Blah blah blah. Like, if you have a problem, you could talk to us. Don't put it out there in the media. Like, keep this stuff in house. So maybe this was after that third time that, you know what, this is also interesting. I'm actually about to look this up right now. I didn't think about this until right now. December 9th, 2018. When did uh when did DJ Swearinger get cut?
That sounds about right. Because he wasn't around last year, so it would have been the end of
2018's right, but I'm just curious.
yeah. Because wasn't it like mid-season? It was, so that would have been
That's
December.
really
Would have
late
been,
season, yeah.
well, yeah, but I mean, it could have been, he got kicked out or
Yep.
let go.
So I'll pull this up. Yeah, December 24th, 2018. The Redskins released safety DJ Swearinger. So yeah.
Obviously,
So
when they had obviously when they were no longer had a playoff chance for the 5th week in a row, that I'm not saying they got knocked out December 24th, but you know my point.
yeah, I just read this. The Washington Redskins released DJ Swearinger 2 days after he ripped defensive coordinator Greg Minuski's play calling in a loss at Tennessee. Who rips Greg Minuski?
See, that would have been my reason to keep Swearinger all the more.
Right? I want him back. I want DJ back
Although,
here.
although the problem of him saying it externally, that in most businesses that'll get you in big trouble if you start talking about
Yeah, I'm
stuff.
absolutely with you. Yeah, you can't bring it to the media and stuff. This has got to be in house. But I completely 1000% agree that Greg Minuski was an utter disaster, and thank the Lord he's gone. And DJ
Oh,
Swearinger
come
was
on!
absolutely right.
You told me all the time how much you liked him in his blitz packages.
Fake news. Fake
No.
news. Yeah, that's what that is. Fake news.
I should have say his non-blitz packages, except on like
Third and short. Third and 2.
yeah,
Let's blitz
3rd and
everybody.
2. Yeah, 0 blitz and let a screen, get beat by the screen.
Yeah,
from 7
slant
yards.
pass, easy first down. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the worst defensive
I remember
coordinator
many
in
a time
history.
of you screaming at the TV.
Ugh, the worst.
And
All
then
right.
when it was 3rd and 16, they'd rush 3.
Yeah, they would send 3. Carson Wentz.
Yep. 14 yards. 3rd and 13, they get 14 yards.
Are they coming for me?
Yeah.
Oh, Deshaun, touchdown! Like, yeah, it would. Oh my gosh, yeah, just throw me out the window watching him. So
We'll
we're
see.
we're done with him. We're done with him. We're moving on here. All right. So the next thing that the Washington Redskins have done recently is they hired Terry Bateman, who apparently was the marketing officer for Dan Snyder's business, like
The telemarketing.
yeah,
business,
his telemarketing business. And so they have experience in the past where he is now the, what's his title here? Chief Marketing Officer and Executive Vice President for the team and his job basically is to oversee the name change and get the marketing right for the new name.
Yeah. I agree from a conversation I was having with someone about why did it take him a week? I guess to find out if the guy was going to take the offer, but it seems to me like why did he take this long to get somebody that's going to move forward with the whole name thing and logo thing? Unless what I will say, excuse me, that unless in what I heard from this guy that was supposed to be a expert on the subject said that normal pace, sorry, normal pace for a name change and a logo is 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
He said that he doesn't see any way that the Redskins are going to be able to change their name and update their logos before the start of this season. Especially being that Dan Snyder is going to want merchandise and to ramp up the merchandising once, it's going to take them a while to vet the logo to make sure that nobody has they don't steal any artists, a close replica of an artist rendering that could say, oh, that's just like my painting I did or whatever. And so that's what takes a lot of the time before they make their mind up about that.
Mm-hmm.
But he's saying that he doesn't see any feasible way that they make this change before the 2020 season starts off. And he could be wrong, but it makes sense to me what he was saying is it's just from a logistical standpoint, they would have had to already be working on this for the last couple of months to even be anywhere close to starting to be able to ramp up the merchandising and have the stadium with merchandise in it and all that stuff. Now, again, I don't know. He was on Zabin's show. Can't remember the guy's name, but it made sense to me what he was saying.
You can't have merchandise until you decide a name. Yeah, so
Well,
they're so far from that. You're right. I mean, I agree. Like, I think we're going to have one more farewell season at this point as a Washington Redskins. I know that everyone and their mother has already taken Redskins off their websites and off the video games and off here and off there.
I heard, and I didn't realize this, but I heard all the press releases that the Redskins in their press releases now have removed any reference to it on any of them.
Have they?
I didn't see. That's what I just read that
enough.
today. So I think that was an SI. I could be wrong, but yeah, they said that they've removed any reference to it.
So I guess which press releases are they talking about?
The one that the Redskins send out to the awaiting, the press waits around and they basically come out and hand them a sheet of stuff that instead they don't always have somebody standing at a podium answering questions or saying stuff on, and I don't know if it's a daily basis or how often it is, but basically they hand the press a sheet of here's the announcements for today, and it might have some injury update news or some just basic BS stuff, but it's something that the press corps waits around to get.
Well, Redskins.com is still a thing. So
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. This seems very straight. Like, I don't have. Let's see. Like, does this say anything as far as like the actual press release? Because I know they hired, apparently Julie Donaldson as their vice president of media.
Right.
Doesn't say here on the, doesn't actually show any press release there, because I don't know what they're like. Their last press release was the name announcement, wasn't it? I know Dan Snyder released something, but I don't know if the team did. Like, it was Dan Snyder's name attached to it, not the Redskins. So, very strange.
So here is, I'm curious to see if the statement from the Washington football team has it on the letterhead or not. But no, this is just this is Redskins.com, so it's not.
But then again, if you just read an article that said that, I don't believe anything they're saying, because they said right from the get-go, like all the articles, Redskins retire name, Redskins retire logo, Redskins retire this, Redskins retire. It's like they haven't done anything yet.
Right.
They just announced that it will be retired at the end of the process, but the process is still ongoing. Like, it's not a completion of the review. Like, it's not done yet. So,
I agree.
Everybody's jumping the gun on this.
If somebody said, "Hey, here's the press release copy that we got from Redskins, and look, there's no logo on it," then yeah. But you're right. Somebody just saying that doesn't mean squat.
Right. So look at that to see if I'll keep an eye on it, like to see when the Redskins release another press release, if Redskins iconography is still on there. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just say every day we get by that there's still the Redskins is a good day for me. So
right. Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go with the name either. I wish they would we'd have more info on that. The more
sounds to me. Sorry, it sounds to me like they went through the process of, are we getting rid of the name or are we not? And they went through that part of the review process and they said, okay, we got to get rid of the name. They hadn't even started
considering a name
with where we're going or what the logo is. So this guy just got hired to do that. So they haven't even begun the process in my mind.
You might be right. I hope that they listen to the fans though. I do like the Red Wolves situation the most. I don't want to be the Warriors.
Sorry, which one?
The Red Wolves.
Which one? Yeah, I guess.
The Red Wolves.
Yeah. I mean,
yes.
It could be.
I know every Redskins fan has to say this. I don't want the name to change. I wish the name would not change. I hate that we're being forced to change the name. I don't want the name to change.
I know you're saying you're a realist. You're a realist, and you're going to start deciding you want to voice in what you hope they do, and that's fine. And quite honestly with you, I have a few names that I think that I don't want, but I don't have any. There's nothing going out to me. I mean, Red Wolves, I'm fine with that, but there's not a name out there I go, you know what, that would be good.
There's not going to be a name like that, right? Like it's.
So my point is I'm not doing it because I'm not accepting the fact that they're not going to change it or that I'm complaining that they're changing it. I'm just saying that, to me, there's no name out there where I go, you know what, I could really get behind that name. I just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the stages of grief, right? The 5 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Losing a dear friend here in the Redskins.
Yes, we're at acceptance. We haven't gotten to acceptance yet. We've gotten through denial.
I've gotten to acceptance. I've gotten to the acceptance. I'm moving forward, but you haven't gotten to that point yet, which is fine. We all grieve at different processes, at different time periods. So
I mean, I am past denial. I'm trying to remember. It's denial, anger. I know the last one is acceptance, and I'm drawing a blank on the other two. Oh, bargaining. It's denial, anger, bargaining, and then there's another one, the fourth one I think I'm missing. Bargaining is one of them where you start trying to make a deal for this not to happen. Oh God, don't let me die or whatever. I'll do anything. So
yeah,
it's I can't think of the fourth one. But anyway, enough of that.
Yep. Yeah, I think I've gotten to all the way to the acceptance then, I think, because I'm not really arguing for it anymore, because I know this. Even if somehow we get the name kept for this season, the next step is the league is going to kick us out or threaten to kick us out. That's going to be we are treading on water where the league is not on our side anymore. So if we start,
yeah, but you know what? I don't, and maybe they can't do this. I'm not an expert, but something tells me that if that's that team's trademark and that team's worth billions of dollars and the NFL says, you know what, it's not okay anymore, Snyder's going to, and again, I'm not saying I think that this is going to happen, but arguing that point, that Dan Snyder comes back and says, this has been my name in this league for this long. I have trademarks. I'm an owner of this. I will remain in the league, and if you try to kick me out of the league, I'm going to take you to court.
Doesn't matter if the league's rules are if you have a certain amount of owners vote to remove an owner, then the league is allowed to remove the owner. So the process would be that the other owners would vote to remove him, especially with these sexual assault allegations and everything like that. Nobody's going to be on Dan Snyder's. Nobody's going to be willing to stick their neck out for Dan Snyder and the Redskins to keep the name, even if 60-70% of the owners want the name to stay. They're like, this is ridiculous, we want to keep the name, but nobody's going to stick their name out or stick their neck out for it. So
yeah,
we're gotten to the point where nobody's on our side, really. It's just the Redskins fans versus the world in a lot of ways on this issue, and you're not going to win that issue if more people around the country start to agree with you, and we're going in the our stock is trending down rather than trending up.
Well, and even people outside the Washington metropolitan area, even if they're not against you, if they're apathetic, that doesn't help you either.
That's
If
yeah.
they're like, I'm not coming up to you. I don't care if you have to change your name or not. It doesn't bother me, but I don't care enough to
Sorry, that's
speak up.
exactly what I meant. Not the entire world is literally wanting to
Okay.
end us team, but I could have been more clear about that. Yeah, like people in freaking Montana don't give two craps if the Washington Redskins change their name. Like they're go ahead, don't do it or don't do it. I don't give a crap. But if you don't have, as you said, if you don't have people literally on your side rooting for you, saying like, no, this should stay, then you're not going to have enough support.
Right, and that's my point too. Is that those people may very well have an opinion that says they shouldn't have to change their name, but they're not talking to anybody or saying anything or signing a petition. They don't care. They're just like, yeah, that's not. They shouldn't have to do that, but nobody's ever going to hear about it.
Yep,
they could be doing whatever. So
complete agreement on that. All right, well, we have one more topic on the day, and this is interesting. So,
well, you say it's interesting. I think it's cliche, but
fair enough.
I'm just kidding.
Well, the Pro Football Talk released their power rankings, and the team from Washington, as we're now being called, is on the bottom. Can I move this over? Yeah, move this over like this so you can see. With the Colts and stuff.
And I don't know if you're gonna have a start on what comment. One thing stood out to me that I felt was comical, although the positions wouldn't have changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you looked at what they said about the Giants. They're ranked 29th, so okay, that we're only talking about 3 spots, but it says Giants, second-year quarterback, first-year head coach, offensive coordinator who was just fired as a head coach, defense that lacks significant punch, offensive line that remains a work in progress. Maybe it'll all find a way to work out, and maybe it doesn't. But they're going to put that team 3 parts ahead of. I mean, I guess Jay Gruden, Ron Rivera is a first-year coach with the Redskins, but he's not a first-year coach. And Jack Del Rio certainly isn't a first-year defensive coordinator, and they got an awful lot of talent. And maybe nothing happens, but I just thought, oh, you're going to put the Giants 3 spaces ahead of the Redskins, and then say to the Redskins, they've got the right coach for the job. Now, if Ron Rivera can focus on coaching and not coming up with a new name or cleaning up Allen's mess, maybe they can get to work on turning the franchise around. It's like I'm sorry, if I was Ron Rivera, I think I would rather be in the Redskins locker room than the Giants, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, this definitely has a lot to do like that dynamic specifically between Giants and Skins is that they like Daniel Jones better than they like Dwayne Haskins. So when you like the quarterback more, you're going to rank them higher. I mean, that's obviously still up for debate. I don't necessarily like either of them all that much. I'm hoping that Dwayne Haskins turns into more. But that being said, I think
defense that lacks significant punch. Oh, and one other thing, I don't think it went unnoticed that all the other teams are named by their mascots, and the Redskins are Washington.
Yeah.
That's,
as I said, everybody and their grandmother has removed it from their websites. It's gone from everyone else's thought process because of how racist we are. And but I think it's clear that we're a better team than the Panthers, and we're a better team than the Bengals. Neither of them have really much going for them other than both of them have decent running backs. But Teddy Bridgewater and rookie Joe Burrow, I don't see this team necessarily being, either of these teams being anything special. You have a second-year player in Dwayne Haskins at quarterback, and you have a better coach than both of those teams in Ron Rivera. So, and our defenses are extremely solid. We already beat the Panthers a year ago. Like, just last year when we were terrible.
What about the Dolphins?
So the Dolphins are actually decent. They're really well coached. Crap. The coach is now escaping my memory of what his name is.
I know. I can't think of it either. I know
Yeah,
you're talking about it.
but they're really well coached, and I'm gonna look it up while I'm talking about this. And they fought really hard. They ended up winning 5 games, which was incredible for where everybody was putting them at, including me. I thought they were a potential team to go 0-16, but they ended up getting Tua Tagovailoa anyway. That's who they wanted, and tank for Tua. That ended up working out for him. And
so one other thing I wanted to note is that it always
Brian Flores.
Yep, that's it. But another thing I wanted to say about this whole list, and again, I think this is all just BS filler. Like, oh, here, let's put together our opinion. Which one's as good as the other? But you have the Cowboys at 12th, and you go down the list. They're better than the Vikings, the Packers, the Broncos. Okay, the Texans. Then it goes down into but it's like, why is it that a lot of these people that do these things always feel like they kind of have a soft spot for the Cowboys? Or do you just think they're that good this year? Because
I think
they've
they're
never
solid.
lived up to the potential. Well, okay.
I think they're going to be much better coached this year with Mike McCarthy compared to Jason Garrett. I despise Jason Garrett. Yeah, a Jason Garrett coach team should not be up near your top 10. I know that he had that one really, really good season. I think they went 13-3 or 12-4 or something like that. But
right.
I think that was in spite of Jason Garrett rather than because of Jason Garrett. So, but with Mike McCarthy, I think they're going to be a much better coach team. Dak Prescott is in a position where if he can't fail, I mean, it's almost impossible. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb is his top 2 receivers. They're fantastic. 2 first round receivers. You have Ezekiel Elliott and a fantastic offensive line there.
Wait.
What?
Is it going to be Prescott or is it going to be Palmer?
Not Palmer. Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. Yeah, I'm sorry. I went way back in the Bengals quarterback there. Sorry, I just showed my age. No, You're right. Andy Dalton.
Which, I mean, that's fine. Andy Dalton might be the quarterback, and I still think they're going to be decent because Andy Dalton has brought teams to 10-win seasons 4 times in his career. And it's not like, in similar situations, but even now he would have a better offensive line than he did in the Bengals, but similar weapons and similar situations there. So I think the Cowboys are decent.
Okay, so you think they're better than the Vikings primarily because of Kirk Cousins, I would assume.
That's going to be tough. Now, I'd have to look more into like the Vikings roster of who they lost and who they didn't lose. I know they got rid of Stefon Diggs. I know their defensive aging.
They don't call it a rebuilding, they're calling it a reloading, so they're a bit of a crossroads. So their defense their defense is always strong, and they have to, I guess, shuffle out a few players that are getting towards the end of their career.
I like Mike Zimmer, the head coach for Minnesota. I like them a lot. So I like him a lot. Excuse me. So if I were to guess who was going to have the better record, oh man, and considering the divisions that they're in, considering the schedules and things, I think that the Cowboys actually might come out on top on that one.
Okay, so what about the Packers?
Packers, no way. I think the Packers are a better team than the Cowboys. I think that's weird. They're down at 14. They were 13-3 last year. What did they lose to drop so far down the list? And they went 13-3 without Devontae Adams, their best weapon, most of the season. They're a really good team. Matt LaFleur seems to be a really good coach. Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. They're a top 10 team. I don't know what people are looking at for that specifically. I think Packers definitely should be much higher on this list. Like, I would put them probably even over the Titans on this list. Like, I think I would move them all the way up to at least 8. Looking at the Patriots, the Patriots Cam Newton bump, I guess, brought them all the way to 4th. I just realized that. Yeah. That's interesting.
You have the Belichick factor, and look, go back to Castle.
Castle.
Castle. That Tom Brady gets hurt and he takes Castle to what, a 10-6 or
Yeah,
11 and
but
5
before,
record.
yeah, the reason I say it's the Cam Newton bump though, because before Cam Newton, like the highest I saw him on a list was 12. Like a lot of people
Oh.
were bringing them down with Jared Stidham as the quarterback. Like I saw a lot of them like middle of the pack, 15, 16 rankings. They went from like basically mid-teens all the way up to number 4 after signing Cam Newton. Like,
And you know what? I can tell you this one thing. I have never felt about the Patriots the way a lot of people do, and I understand Ravens fans. I get it, but I've never really held a game hatred type thing
mm-hmm.
for the Patriots. I just did, and there's so many people that just absolutely despise them. Well, they just made me find a reason to root against them, and next year I will be rooting against them.
Yeah, you're not a Cam Newton fan, are you?
No, the little crybaby after the Super Bowl went all season long. Oh, Pete, come on, folks, give him a break. He's just a kid having fun. Then he lost, and I thought, yep, now he's a kid throwing a tantrum.
15-1 that season, and yeah, lost in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and he's sitting there pouting in front of the camera. I have to sit in front of the cameras, but I don't have to answer any questions. Anyway, but I'm not, this exercise is, like I said, it's fun to talk about. Ooh, I think we have a storm coming. I just heard a thunderclap, so.
Well, you guys go enjoy that. That was my last topic of the day. You tell us. Thank you guys for watching to the end. Appreciate everything. You tell us where you think we rank in the standings. I think I'd probably put us right in that 29 range, 28, 29. I think we are pretty low on the totem pole right now, especially with COVID situation where we don't have a legit off season. But and also where do you rank what do you think of this list otherwise too? Let us know that too. We've just pretty much described everything we thought about the list. Put it down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Like the video, subscribe, share with anybody that you know, share with your friends, and we will see you next time. Peace.
Peace, everybody.